Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to discuss about the coding question which are asked in interview for the front end developer or the React developer. The question is related to the like JavaScript coding as well as React coding, because in some cases they just generally ask about the JavaScript like coding question, but in some cases they also ask you to code some basic features with the React as well. So yeah, today we'll going to discuss about that. So I will show you. In JavaScript, mostly people ask you about the reverse string. Okay. So basically, here they want to check your approach. Like with by default, we are reversing string by using that splicing the string, then reverse it, then join with this method built basically with the built-in methods. But in some cases, they generally ask you reverse a string without built-in methods. So then we need to go with the approach of like for loop. So basically we need to use for loop with the reverse criteria. So you will able to reverse the string. Then second, they will ask you the question related to the array. So like find duplicate from array. So they will simply give you one array in which the some maybe alphabet or some we say digits are a duplicate repeated value, and you have to remove that value from the array by using some built-in methods, or according to your approach you have to remove that. So basically here what you should do, like by comparing that array, and then you have to remove that array. Then same with array, they will ask you about the find greatest number in array. Find, okay, like largest, you say the largest number in an in array. Okay. So look, when you are doing like finding this array, then you have to do one simple thing. You have to return one function. Inside that function declare one variable and assign that default array zero value is a greater number. Okay. Then apply a for loop. Then in that for loop you have to check either that uh, the variable you are declaring to set default value array zero value to the as the greatest value. You have to compare that value with the where you are looping that for loop, and then check if the value is greater than that pre-decide value, then just push that value to that particular variable, and this way you can like find greatest number from array by using like for loop, by returning one function inside that you have to use a for loop. Then in some cases they will also ask you the reverse string. Yeah, I forgot to mention in the above question. In reverse string, we remove string, like we reverse string in two ways. Like if one simple word is there, you just need to reverse that. But if a sentence is there, they don't ask you to reverse overall string, they just ask you to just reverse that particular one in that place only. So the sentence is same, just the character of that particular word is reversible, so you have to do that as well. So this kind of question, generally coding question ask in a basic level of either 0 to 2 years experience level. They ask this kind of coding question. Then sometime they will ask you like find, okay, no, not find, check number present or not. So basically in this question what they will do, they will give you two array. In that two array they will mention some value which are repeated in first value, the value are also repeated in the second array, and you want, they will ask you like check the value is present or not in the second array. So this is also one kind of question for coding purpose they ask. And generally if you with JavaScript, like no one asks you about the like that printing pattern question mostly, because whatever interview I have given, I didn't thought like someone asked me to print that question. And with my overall experience of 3 years, 3+ years in development field, and I switches two companies, but I never faced the situation like in JavaScript someone asked me the printing pattern question, because till now that I have given at least 30-40 interviews overall, including as a fresher and while switching two companies, but I never faced that question. And if we're talking about the React perspective, then most of the time I got a question like create one simple component, and then in that component they are asking me show one drop down, or in some cases they will just give me that scenario like you have two component and you are passing props from one component to another component this way. But the most interesting question I got in my overall all the interview is that someone asked me to like add two numbers with React, like simply create two input field in one component and just add that. So most of the people think this is a very simple question, just you have to add two number, but this is not the case, because with JavaScript we are not predefining the data type of that, and we simply think that we have to put do two input field, and just on click of the that add button we need to do the addition of that and calling that function. But that is not the case, because by default it will treat that number as a string, and you will get as a not an a number as a output. You will not get as a output as a that. So you have to do what, take a two variable num1 num2, then you need to return one function, and inside that we have to take either number or either float for that adding, while adding that particular value. Then we are, if we do that with the help of that input field, then we will get output as a number, otherwise we will get output as a not and a number. So this is the like very simple question if we see, but it's not that simple, because by default data type is a string of that particular variable. So remember this thing. So like add to number in React. Okay. So next question, like I got one question where they ask me to like took two input field. Okay. And whatever you are typing in a first input, you have to mention that in a second input as well. So this is also one question. So we need to do what, in our app.js component we have to define the like two components, and at a time of that we need to pass the props to that component. So basically from the app.js component we are passing that props to both the components, and whenever we are entering value in first field, it will also reflect in the second field as well. So like this is also one question. Then one very interesting question I also got in one interview, I guess that is for the like GS lab interview question. They ask me like show me one drop down, just create one component, and where they give me some static data, and they ask me like show this data into the drop down board, create two drop down in same component and show that data. So basically in that what they like ask me, there is a five fruit name, and when I select like fruit name is apple, banana, this kind of, if I select apple in first drop down, when I click on second drop down, then from that drop down that apple is missing, like we need to hide that apple. We only got the four option. And same kind, if I select like mango in a second drop down, I will not get that mango value in first drop down. So this way they will ask me like show drop down and hide and show kind of things. So it will also one kind of interesting question. And some other question is also asking, they ask me. So we will discuss that question in the next part. If you like the video, just subscribe the channel and share the video as much as possible. Thank you guys.